The President's Office of War-Torn Ukraine claimed that a Russian missile has demolished the House of Culture in the Ukrainian city of Lozova on Friday. As the war between Moscow and Kyiv continues to escalate with no sign of stopping, the President's Office of War-Torn Ukraine claimed that a Russian missile destroyed the House of Culture in the Ukrainian city of Lozova on Friday, wounding 7 people, including an 11-year-old child. Further, video footage has been published on Telegram by the President's administration. It is to note that Lozova is located about 73 kilometers southwest of Izium, a Russian-controlled city in Kharkiv's oblast. The Russian missile could be seen demolishing the structure in footage. The missile detonated with a huge light and a cloud of smoke emerged as it struck the structure. The President's office further revealed that the structure had just been renovated. Following the attack on Friday, embattled President Volodymyr Zelensky described the Russian air attacks as the epitome of absolute evil, absolute stupidity. According to a video post shared on Telegram, the Ukrainian president wrote, "The occupiers identified culture, education and humanity as their enemies. They do not spare missiles or bombs for them. What is in the minds of people who choose such targets? Absolute evil, absolute stupidity." In April, invading Russian soldiers were accused by the Ukrainian government of committing more than 200 war crimes on Ukraine's cultural heritage. As per the press department of the Ukrainian Ministry of Culture and Information Policy, Russian soldiers have committed roughly 242 acts of war crimes against the country's cultural assets as of April 23. In addition to this, on May 19 and 20, Russia intensified its onslaught, damaging civilian facilities in Dnipropetrovsk, Mykolaiv, and Kharkiv. Russian soldiers are aiming to invade Lysychansk and Severodonetsk in the Luhansk area, as per the Ukrinform news agency, which quoted information from Ukraine's military-civil administrations. Further, the invasion of Severodonetsk, according to Governor Serhiy Haidai, was a failure. The Russians suffered personnel losses and retreated. The Russian military was reported to storm the cities of Lysychansk and Severodonetsk on May 19, as per the governor of Ukraine's eastern district of Luhansk. On May 19, Friday, 12 individuals were supposedly slain in Severodonetsk, and 60 homes were reportedly demolished and burned. The shelling caused damage to 12 residences in Lysychansk, 14 in Novodruzhsk, 17 in Privolya, 6 in Zolotai, 3 in Vrubivka, and 3 in Rubizhny. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Zelensky has stated that the industrial Donbas area, which had previously been targeted by Russian offensives, has been devastated. The brutal Russia-Ukraine war has entered day 86. In a massive move, Sweden and Finland moved ahead with their applications for NATO membership, leading Moscow to reiterate warnings of far-reaching consequences. After over 2 months of battle, Azovstal defenders were evacuated. Meanwhile, the U.S. announced an additional $215 million as food aid to Ukraine. Businesses in Germany, Italy can now open ruble accounts to buy Russian gas. Companies in Germany and Italy have been instructed that they can open ruble accounts to buy Russian gas without breaking sanctions. On Friday, sources indicated that Berlin, which had coordinated the problem with the EU, notified German gas importers that they may create ruble accounts, but that payments to Gazprom Bank should not be done in Russian currency. Zelensky slams Russia for an attack on a cultural center, calls it absolute evil, absolute stupidity. Following the destruction of a cultural center in Ukraine in which at least 7 people were injured, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky termed Russian airstrikes the embodiment of absolute evil, absolute stupidity. In the city of Lozova in the Kharkiv region, an airstrike destroyed the newly rebuilt House of Culture, resulting in a big cloud of dust and debris and injuring at least 7 people, including a child. Zelensky stated the Russians make no exceptions for them when it comes to missiles or bombs. He claimed that it is absolute evil and absolute stupidity. Russia claims the Azovstal steel plant in Mariupol fully liberated. Russia has claimed that the besieged Azovstal steel plant in the southern Ukrainian port city of Mariupol has been fully liberated. Major General Igor Konashenkov, a spokesman for the Russian Ministry of Defense, said in a statement that the final group of 531 insurgents surrendered, referring to Ukrainian fighters who had been resisting the Russian assault on the plant for several weeks. Lieutenant Colonel Denis Prokopenko, the Ukrainian commander of the Azov regiment, had earlier issued an order to quit defending Mariupol, adding that the top military leadership had issued an order to safeguard the soldiers' lives and health and stop defending the city. Canada to send $250 million Canadian dollars to Ukraine. Ukraine will receive $250 million Canadian dollars, which is about $195 from Canada. The finance minister of the country Chrystia Freeland announced a new loan of $250 million for Ukraine through an IMF-controlled account. This year, Canada has allocated approximately $1.87 billion Canadian dollars to Ukraine. Treasury Department said that Canada will continue to support Ukraine in preserving its sovereignty and democracy with its G7 allies. Hungary proposes imposing a sea embargo on Russian oil supply. Hungary's Foreign Minister Péter Szijjártó stated that Hungary is proposing imposing a sea embargo on the Russian oil supply rather than onshore deliveries. Szijjártó said that if the European Union wants to punish Russia on the oil front, then introduce an embargo on maritime oil deliveries, because that represents by far the majority of Russian oil deliveries to Europe, and if they give an exemption to pipeline deliveries, then their economies can continue to operate, and the European Union will achieve its goal as well. Ukraine shelled settlement of Mikhailivka, says DPR representative. The DPR representative office at the Joint Center for Control and Coordination of the Ceasefire, JCCC, stated that Ukrainian troops shelled the settlement of Mikhailivka in the Donetsk People's Republic, firing 6 122mm shells. The representative said that fire was reported by the AFU, Armed Forces of Ukraine, in the direction of Novgorodsky, Mikhailivka, and that 6 shells of 122mm caliber were fired by Ukraine. Josep Borrell vows to hold Russian forces involved in sexual abuse in Ukraine accountable. Josep Borrell, the EU's High Representative, claims that the Russian military personnel were involved in sexual abuse in Ukraine. He further said that they will be held accountable. He stated that in the freed territories of Ukraine, unspeakable acts have been reported. He further said that among the atrocities committed by the Russian military is the use of sexual abuse against women and children, and that it is necessary to hold those guilty accountable. Borrell emphasized that the EU is trying to eliminate sexual violence caused by war around the world. Zelensky says evacuation of defenders of the Azovstal plant will be completed in near future. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky expects that the process of evacuation of the Ukrainian defenders on the grounds of the Azovstal plant in Mariupol will be concluded soon. He said in an interview that the evacuation of additional civilians living near the plant or in Mariupol has been ongoing for some time. He claimed that civilians and medics were evacuated, as well as the badly injured and wounded. The president also said that he believes the evacuation of everyone will be finished in the near future, perhaps even in the coming days. Lithuania to stop importing electricity from the Russian Federation. Lithuanian transmission system operator Litgrid has decided to suspend Russian electricity imports beginning May 22. It should be noted that the concerned authorities were informed about the situation ahead of time, according to media reports. From Sunday, Russian electricity imports will be halted in the country. Putin orders comprehensive assessment of WTO members' actions against Russia. Amid back-to-back sanctions on Russian companies, Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday held a meeting wherein he ordered the officials to analyze the measures that the countries of the World Trade Organization, WTO, have taken against Russia. As per the details of the meeting updated on the Kremlin website on Friday, the Russian head directed the government to conduct a comprehensive assessment of the measures taken by the member state of the WTO this year to restrict trade with Moscow. The government of the Russian Federation should conduct a comprehensive assessment of the measures taken by the member states of the World Trade Organization in 2022 to restrict trade with the Russian Federation for their compliance with the rules and principles of this organization, TASS news agency quoted the statement released following the meeting. Germany to send the first 15 Gepard tanks to Ukraine in July. A German Defense Ministry official confirmed in Berlin on Friday that the first 15 Gepard tanks will be delivered to Ukraine in July, according to media reports. He stated that German Defense Minister Christine Lambrecht and her Ukrainian counterpart, Oleksiy Reznikov, had agreed to this through video link.